Are we going? And bada bing, bada bang, bada boom. We're in it, baby. Let's go. Welcome to episode, 8. Number 8. We already talking about how crazy 7 was. Now we're at 8. What's up, guys? We'll introduce our guest here in a second, but before we do that, we got to have the shameless plugs. So, one, this is just for the upcoming of the podcast in general. We were kind of talking about it before, but we're going to have episode 9. We're going to be filming that next week. This is going to be airing probably sometime in the middle of the week. And then episode 10, I believe, is the collab cast. So it's going to be me, Elias, Danny, and Jake, and we're going to be reuniting again. We actually were supposed to do that podcast as episode 4, but it didn't happen. So yeah, that's what's going on in terms of the future of the podcast. So stay tuned. And if you want to stay up to date on all news like that, follow the Instagram page. So it's at inspo._cast. It'll be down in the description below. Go check out the link tree. We have all of the highlight clips from the videos on TikTok, on Instagram Reels, on Facebook Stories. So check out all the content that's being offered right now. There's going to be something for you. And I know there's going to be something for you today with the guest we have. So without further ado, let's go ahead and introduce who we have today.
Today we got C-Dog, Colten Lehnen, my longtime training partner, the guy that introduced me into fitness and bodybuilding. I wouldn't be where I am today without him. So what do you want to say?
I appreciate it, man. Hey, we definitely both wouldn't have lost our weight without each other or done any of that, or so.
Yeah, I don't think I would have pushed myself as hard without you.
It's a lot harder by yourself. So
yeah.
When you have somebody else going through it with you, especially when you're losing as much weight as we did, 80, 90 pounds, you get up there. It's about longevity and consistency, and you need a partner to do that a lot of the time. So
yeah. So for the audience, go ahead and take us basically where your journey, how things began.
So I'd say it started let's start with middle school. I just want to explain something real quick. So in middle school, I had really bad anxiety and social anxiety. I hated myself. I just didn't have any self-esteem. So I think that was why, and just plus things that happened when I was a kid. But I couldn't really understand why I had anxiety at the time at all. It was kind of just random to me. I had 130 absences my 8th grade year. It got that bad. I was out of school, like class absences, not day absences. Mm-hmm. But in high school, I would have been truant or kicked out of school or something for that for sure. So and it was just because of the anxiety. I would leave school early. I would miss Mondays and Tuesdays just because I didn't want to go so bad. I hated school. And then we got to high school and I started lifting weights. As soon as we got to high school, we started lifting weights. I was doing remember I was doing the same on squat and bench, 95 on both of them, just a 25 on each side. And at first I was kind of embarrassed because all the high schoolers were stronger than me and stuff. And kids that were even smaller than me were stronger than me. Cause I'm kind of big guy, I guess, 6'2". But I was pretty skinny back then. And yeah, just when I kept on lifting, I hated it at first, and my mom would actually make me go to the workouts. But then all of a sudden I just fell in love with it. As soon as I started making gains and just getting bigger and seeing improvements in myself, I fell in love with it. And pretty much with that, my social anxiety completely went away. And because of lifting, I enjoyed high school to the fullest extent. I never had to deal with that kind of anxiety again. And I learned how to conquer it because of lifting. So that's how important it was to me. But back then we were just doing powerlifting and stuff for football. So just trying to get as strong as we can, as fast as we can. And that was fun, but I had a lot of back problems. I had a slip disc, I think so going into my junior season, I had a slip disc. I pretty much missed all the summer practices and everything. Just because of that. I was doing a lot of physical therapy and stuff. It just wouldn't get better. It finally did. That's kind of why I realized powerlifting wasn't for me though, is because it just happened from squatting heavy, squatting too often. I feel like my back can't really take it. So then when I got out of high school, well, I already knew so during high school, I would always watch Bradley Martin, David Lay, Dylan McKenna. Those are the big three that I would just watch all the time. I would stay up late. I remember I would be shaking in my bed, so excited to get aesthetic. That's all I wanted to do. I just wanted to look good so bad. It was never about how much weight I could push for me or anything. But I was an offensive lineman. That's one thing I forgot to mention. So I was trying to get as big as possible the whole time in high school, fat and muscle. It didn't matter what I was really putting on. So by my senior year, I got all the way up to 280. And that was a mistake, first off, even for football. So if any football players are listening, don't just, if you're an offensive lineman, defensive lineman, don't just think you can just add as much weight as possible and it'll be good weight, because it's not. You got to find the weight that you're good at playing at. Because I feel like I could have been all state my junior year, but my senior year I declined a lot just because of how much weight I put on. I got a lot slower and stuff. So I was 280. And then I kind of realized it was a problem with my playing style. So I got down to about like 265 throughout the season, which wasn't that hard. I didn't have to check my calories or anything just because you burn so much calories at football. So like if you just eat one less bag of chips a week, you'll start losing weight during football season. So got down to about 265 by the end of football season, which is like early November. Around there. And from there, it was just time to get aesthetic.
Bro, that's when we both started lifting together too.
Yep. So I had known that Elias started falling in love with lifting like during the football season. I would see him losing weight and just getting better and better. And he was getting to be a better kicker too. It was awesome to see that for sure, because like he just improved so much, like just even throughout the football season. It was crazy. So and I knew that he had loved it. And we had talked a couple times just jokingly about like lifting together after the football season, I think. But me and Elias, like, we weren't super close. Like, we had played Fortnite together and, like, lifted together sometimes, like, in weightlifting class. But we weren't, like, super close friends or anything. So I guess I didn't really take it that seriously. I didn't think he would follow through with it with me either. But then one day after school, like, the third day after football season, we were both in the gym already. Like, super banged up and everything from the season still. But I just wanted to get in the gym. I'm like, I'm ready to lose this weight. Like, I felt horrible about myself just because of how big I was. And you guys got to throw up a picture or something so you can see how big I was beforehand.
So did you and Elias start your like weight loss? Because obviously, I mean, this is when you started too. You both had like crazy weight loss stories. Did it start around the same time when you guys started training as well? You'd lost about 25 pounds during the season, right?
15, yeah.
Or 15.
265.
So did you guys kind of start at like a similar point then?
Yeah, I would say like body fat percentage wise, I think he might have been a little bit higher than me because I was honestly pretty muscular. Like for how big I was. Like everyone would even say like, you're not fat, you're just big as hell. But
they used to call me the nose burrito.
So I had a little bit better body composition just because of the high amount of muscle that I had, and I do miss that for sure, like how much muscle I had back then. But and I was pretty strong too, like squatted 485. Bench 315. I can't do any of that anymore, obviously. But so yeah, we started our weight loss. You started yours during football season too, though, didn't you?
Yeah, for my senior season, so like August.
But individually though, so we didn't come together until like the third day after football season. We saw each other in the gym. He was with you were with Caesar, I think.
Yeah.
But I just said what's up to him, and I'm like, dude, we got to start lifting together. And I'm like, how about tomorrow? Because like, I'm not the type of person like to just ask somebody something and not mean it. Like if I want to start right away. Like, let's get to it. So me and Elias started lifting together the next day, and we worked out 6 days a week, every single week for like 2.5 we were training way too high volume and stuff too.
Yeah.
We were training for like 2.5, 3 hours some mornings. We would wake up at 4 every morning, get to the gym at 5, get it in for like 2.5, 3 hours, and then go to school. It was a ton of fun. And we lost, what? How much weight did you lose?
Like 70 to 80 pounds.
And I lost about 50 with Elias until he moved away to Fort Wayne for college. So I got it down to about 215 from 265 in the span of about 9 months, I think. And yeah, we looked awesome.
Yeah, I remember. But yeah, it was kind of a mental battle at the end, though, for both of us.
Yeah, for sure. It's just like we had gotten so tired, like of dieting for so long. I was eating 2,500 calories the whole time, which seems crazy to me now because I eat like probably 4,000 now just to maintain. So like it was crazy that I dieted that hard for that long. I'm proud of ourselves. Like he was dieting like 1,800 calories. It was insane. Like this dude is legit like super dedicated to his craft. Like I can't imagine anybody else doing that. So yeah, I got really hard near the end, but we had each other and we got through it. So
yeah, remember that one day we did that YouTube video, 5,000 calorie mukbang.
And so basically, I'm the one that convinced Elias to rebound for 20 pounds. I feel bad about this because I had been eating cheat meals pretty consistently throughout my weight loss. Like on the weekends, like Sundays, I wouldn't track my calories either. I would just kind of eat whatever. But Elias was so dedicated that he was 7 days a week at like his 18 to 2,200 calories. And one day I convinced him, like, dude, you are so depleted. Like, you'll feel way better if you eat a cheat meal, which is true. I'm sure he probably would have felt better from it. But, I mean, once you get a taste of food when your hunger hormones are that messed up like his were, I mean, you're going to rebound no matter what.
Let's just say it started my bulk.
So I convinced him to go. This is a funny story. So I convinced him to go to Five Guys. And then we went to, where did we go next? Cold Stone Creamery.
Cold Stone.
We both got the largest size ice cream. And then we got Sonic. We both had a foot-long hot dog. It's pretty funny.
It'd be one thing to do a 5,000 calorie mukbang with like some clean food, but the fact that it was just like garbage food too, like you just nuke that anyways. It's insane.
Oh, and then I wanted to mention, I talked about it with Jake in the Jake podcast. Like, I put on 20 pounds in, like, a month. That's what sparked that. And then, like, I have pictures, like, of, I think it was August 7th, the day after. No, that was the day it happened. Like, I had a picture of my abs. And then the next day, I had it the day after. And they were still, like, there but glazed. And then, like, 2 weeks later.
Just completely gone.
You could, you couldn't even tell that I lost weight.
That's not true, for sure. Trying to think of things we skipped over. I kind of went through that story way too fast, I think, and I missed a lot of key points.
No, I mean, I think you did go through a lot there in terms of like your fitness journey. I thought the coolest thing was like, it's so interesting to see this in fitness journeys. You guys basically started your weight loss at the same time, although you guys were like not together by any means. But then months later kind of found yourselves I mean, you guys were both at similar points. Like you'd gain some more of like that consistent discipline. And like you said, I think most people, it's really hard to find somebody like that these days in general. Like that's just a very unique scenario where you guys' paths just collided like perfectly, you know?
It's not odd. It was God. That's what I say. So,
hey, shout out.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was like it was meant to be. Like we found each other and just like I don't think anybody, the offensive lineman or anything, ended up doing that. But like, yeah, we were on the exact same page and like not even being that close of friends or like talking that often. And then just all of a sudden, boom, like we're together working out every single day. And yeah, there was so many times where I just had no motivation at all to keep on going. I was so depleted. Like the whole time I was depleted. He was depleted too. But just knowing that he was going to be there at 5 a.m. too, like that's what kept me going for sure. And it had gotten really hard like through the spring because I had a really challenging course load my senior year too. I was taking 3 AP classes and then I started working as well on top of working out for 2.5 hours every morning, preparing all my meals and everything. Yeah, so pretty much after football season, my parents were like, you're not playing any more sports. You have to get a job. So I started working like 25 hours a week, too, at Rusty Taco while I was studying for my AP exams and everything. And I was supposed to go to college for engineering last year, like fall 2021. But now I'm enrolled for fall 2022 because I ended up taking a gap year. I was so burnt out of school and everything at that point. Because, I mean, like, if you equate it to just a working week and a job, I was probably working 90 hours a week. Like, it was insane with the homework and studying and everything. And I had just got completely burnt out of life pretty much. So I ended up taking a gap year. And so I could just figure out what I wanted to do more, extend my time. And that's one thing that I actually really recommend to a lot of people is if you feel lost and like you're just not ready to go to college, then don't go right then because – if I would have gone to college last year while I was so burnt out and I hated school and I realized that I actually like school. I love school. I love learning, challenging myself. That's something that I have to do because if I'm stagnant in life, if I'm not improving in something and I'm not constantly learning, then I can't just stay still. I'll just get depressed. I'll get unmotivated. And I won't be able to keep on doing the same thing. Like it always has to be something new. And so I think that's what I like about school. And that's something I never would have known if I didn't take a gap year. And I probably would have ended up dropping out because I was so burnt out and tired. I don't think I would have made it through first year engineering. It's a tough program in itself. So
You've learned a lot about yourself on like the mental headspace side. I think like a lot of people, they deal with the physical side of this battle, but you have like totally faced all of the mental sides, but you've also conquered them too. Like you've learned a lot is what it sounds like.
yeah, for sure. So like even recently, I kind of went through a depressive state for about 2 or 3 months. So I wasn't able to work because I was having to take care of a sick family member pretty much 24/7. And that was really hard on me because when you only have like one project in your life and you're failing at it because they're not doing better, you're not getting them better, like you feel like a failure. That's what you're going to identify with. You have to be doing, that's another thing. You have to be doing stuff that you're proud of and that you love, you're passionate about all the time. Because if you don't, you'll forget who you are and you'll lose your ego. And so, yeah, I had gotten to a pretty bad depressive state, and I was just really unmotivated. I still work at Target, but I've just been working at a grocery store, like pretty content with where I was at, and that's not me. That's not something I should have been doing. So I finally realized that recently. I had started I started waking up a couple hours earlier before work every day and just journaling, meditating, praying, just trying to learn a lot about my mind, because mental health is something that I never really had to worry about. Even though I had those really bad anxiety attacks in middle school, it was just the gym that got me through that. I had never actually, like, I guess, digressed what was going on in my mind and, like, really analyzed it or thought too much about it because I was so young. I didn't really understand what was going on anyways. And I had no mental health issues all the way up until just, like, 3 or 4 months ago when it started. And I've learned a lot from that since then. And mental health is definitely something that should be in the forefront of everybody's mind when they're talking about optimizing their life. Because if you don't have your mental health optimized, nothing else in your life will be on point. Like you can't have anything else on point. Even the gym, like I started to hate the gym, which is so crazy because it's been something that's so important to me. Just because like I was stressing myself out over it so much, and I had so much anxiety with the gym that I actually stopped going to the gym. Like right now I'm detrained by like almost a month. I've only worked out like 4 times probably in the last month, just because of that. But yeah, so get that mental health down first, and now I'm back in the gym and I love it again. So
right, if this ain't healthy up here, folks, then this ain't doing anything.
Never.
You know,
right? Exactly.
It's like your body was totally capable of going to the gym. It's not like you like physically couldn't go to the gym. It was just like the mental headspace of like that's the last fucking place I want to be, you know?
Another thing I do have to say is if you're a perfectionist like I am, like my football coach, just, he knows, like they always just make fun of me for being such a perfectionist. I mean, just jokingly, but if you're a perfectionist like I am, you can't take it too seriously either, because I had gotten to the point where I was like logging every single weight and everything, and that's good for some people, but for me that just caused so much more anxiety and stress about the gym, because like if I didn't hit 5 more pounds on incline, or if I didn't get an extra rep, like I was thinking about everything that I did wrong with my diet, my sleep, like just way overthinking about it. And it took all the fun and enjoyment out of the gym for me. So if you're a perfectionist and that's a problem that you have, I would say just go back to the basics, start having fun in the gym, go get a pump, work out with your friends, you know, make sure it's always a fun thing no matter what. Cause if you lose the fun in it and you're not enjoying it, then that's another thing that'll make the consistency part really hard.
Exactly. Just like do you follow Chris Bumstead at all?
Yeah.
You know, he just always talks about smelling the roses. I think that's a part of it too, of like, you know, especially when the reason you were doing that is because you had this goal in mind of what you wanted to do, right? Like you wanted to lose 90 pounds. And so all of these things are going to help you. Like it wasn't like the fact of that, but it was just like, there was a lot of things that you were doing and you just got so caught up in just like the numbers and stuff that you forgot like almost why you were even doing it in the first place, of like, and like, this is fun, you know?
Exactly. And I forgot that I even looked, like I thought I looked horrible at that point too, because it had became about the numbers so much to me that I wasn't even looking at my physique. I wasn't even looking at, I forgot how far I came. I wasn't grateful whatsoever for any of the work that I had put in. And I mean, you have to appreciate everything that you do for yourself. Because if you don't appreciate it, then there's no point in doing it in the first place.
Exactly.
What's the point in having good physique if you can't enjoy it?
Damn. Where do you want to take the physique now? So you've lost a lot of weight. I mean, you're still muscular, right? But like you've learned a lot about, the fitness community. I mean, you follow a lot of good, knowledgeable individuals in terms of fitness, like Chris. You were talking about like a podcast that you were watching earlier.
Yeah. So right now I just really want to bulk hard as I can. This is another weird thing that I want to explain is that I was telling you guys, my metabolism just completely switched around. And now it's just really hard for me to gain weight. So, yeah, now I'm hard on the bulk, just eating as much as I can, making sure I get my protein in, but just trying to stuff as many calories down as possible because I really want to put on muscle and get back to from a muscular standpoint where I was when I was fat, but with a more similar body fat to what I have now, maybe like 12 to 15.
Exactly. The body composition, very, very different. Like I worked at 5-Star Nutrition and we do like the in-body scans, give guidance and things like that. And I thought one thing that was super interesting was like how many people don't really know like how to bulk or how to put on size or like, I think a lot of people also put like a bad connotation around it too. Like, oh, you're bulking. Ew. It's like bulking's a good thing actually. And so like, just in terms of calculating the process and stuff, like how the heck do you even bulk? Well, one, you got to be in a surplus, right? And like, you're talking about your metabolism. One thing that 5-Star gives you, it's called your basal metabolic rate. So it's based off of your muscle mass number. So how much skeletal muscle mass you have, but that determines how many calories you burn in a day doing nothing. Right. Like that is your metabolism. And considering like you were already very, like when you were 280, 290, like, yeah, you were fat, but like you still had a lot of muscle, Right. And like you still maintained a lot of it. Like, hey, no homo, the arms looking massive. You know what I'm saying?
Appreciate it, man.
But yeah, I mean, you're burning probably like between 1,800 to 2,000 calories a day. And plus you want to be a successful individual too. So on top of that, like you're going and playing sports or like you're going to work or like you go to the gym, right? Like you do activity too. Like you're a calorie burning machine. And a lot of people think like 3,000 calories is a lot of calories. And I'm like, you're crazy, dude. Like 3,000 calories is at least what you burn in one day.
Yeah, you should be. Right?
Yeah. And if you could burn like 3,500 calories and eat 4,000 calories, like, bro, you'd be an insane beast.
Right. If you have if you have your activity levels down packed too. So one thing that's another difference in my life is that at my job right now, I do walk 10 miles a day about. So that's another,
it plays such a huge factor.
It's probably like an extra 1,000 or something. So I wish I would have had that job the whole time I was losing weight because I probably could have been eating 3,500 calories instead of 25.
There's a lot of people that have never had an active job, and I just noticed like physique-wise, when you have an active job, it does make a difference, 100%. Like you said, you're burning, if you were just working an office job or something like that, right? You're going to burn 500, 600, 700 calories less, right?
Yeah.
You add that up, you're working 5 days a week, right? Like that's a pound. That's a whole pound of us 500 calories, right? And you work a job for an extended amount of time. So like you can only imagine the positive thing it's going to do for your physique. But like for you right now, it's not a negative because like you're getting cardiovascular like exercise and like this is helping with your overall health and like the body composition side. But like you're burning way more calories. It's hard to bulk too.
Yeah, I will say though, one thing is that it's kind of good for me too though because I'm kind of scared to get fat, but it's good having that reassurance of knowing I have such a high activity level and stuff that I probably won't get that fat if I'm eating a lot of calories. But
plus you've learned the discipline side too. Mm-hmm. Like you trust in yourself that like, even if, you would square yourself away. Like you're like, dude, I could get back on track even if I did lose myself a little bit.
Right. That's true. I got to realize that though, because there's a lot of things that, especially in fitness, your perception gets so misconstrued by social media, by comparison, just even in the gym. Like I'm not even really on social media, but just from like going to the gym, like I only compare myself to like the 5 guys in the gym that are bigger than me, and it just makes me feel worse about myself.
100%.
Like, why do that? You know what I mean? Like that's something that you have to realize, you have to recognize it, and then just stop doing it. Compare yourself to yourself, your former self. And that's when you'll start enjoying the gym.
Exactly. There's a lot of different motivation I think about on like Instagram and TikTok, like different mindsets that people have. I was like watching this one dude and he was basically just like, basically need to stop being a bitch. And sometimes like that mindset actually is good. But like, I do think the best one is really like so many people just compare themselves to other people in the gym. And it's like, bro, it doesn't matter. It's like, compare yourself to yourself. Like, it was funny. I was looking through like my camera roll, at least personally, looking at my physique, and I was like 10 pounds bigger and probably like 3-4% less body fat, you know? And I was like, damn, bro, I can't believe I did that. But like, I gotta fucking beat that too, you know? Like, sure. That's way more motivating to me than it is to anybody else.
And yeah, that's one thing I'm dealing with right now, because it's funny because I was supposed to be bulking, so I went down to 200. I'm like, that's the lowest I'm getting. It's time to bulk for me now. And then I lost another 10 pounds. So, but it's just like I've atrophied a lot, especially with not training. So it's time to get going again. Time to start bulking. Start training hard. We're hitting legs today, so ready to put on some mass.
Yes, sir. I'm gonna push you to the end.
Yeah, it'll be fun to train together too. We haven't trained together in such a long time, and
well, like 3-4 months, maybe longer.
Yeah, for me, a training partner is really important. I know some people, like I see you in the gym all the time by yourself, just high energy. Like I respect the shit out of you for that, because that's tough for me. Like I go in the gym by myself and I'm yawning, like just trying to listen to the hypest music I can just to get some energy. But I stopped taking pre-workout too, so that might be why, partially. But yeah, I want to know how you get all that energy in the gym, honestly, because
it's funny. I was talking to somebody about this the other day, because it sounds like, well, for the most part, you've generally had a training partner, right?
Yeah, until he left, yeah.
So me, never. Like when I started back in 2017. Like I was working construction. I was doing kind of something similar to what you're doing at Target right now. So I was working construction, and I was working some dog shit jobs too. And I was like busting my ass every day. I had like fucking smoke on my face. Like it was bad. And I was going to the gym 6 days a week. Like I was going ham. And I just got a membership at the downtown YMCA. And that just became kind of like my safe haven. And that was where I like really started. And like, it's always been for me, I've never really, like I've gone to the gym with people, don't get me wrong, but I've never had a training partner really. And so like when you start your fitness journey on your own like that, developmentally, there's so many differences. Like you're the only one accountable for yourself and your fitness. And so, you know, they always say like discipline over motivation. Like that's always what it's been. The other part is like, bro, I love caffeine too. So like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I mean, for sure. Like but the thing is like, I enjoy that prep, like ritual process. And it like from the time that I write my workout before I even go in the gym to like pre-workout to being in the gym and after is all a ritual for me. Like, it's like, I'll get my little smoothie, I'll write my workout, I'll like do my pre-workout stack, I'll go to the gym. Like my warm-up's always the same. Like it's just kind of like a part of my life. I thought Arnold made a good quote. He was like, when are you going to stop going to the gym? And he's like, never. He's like, when are you going to stop brushing your teeth? When are you going to stop going to bed? He's like, it's just like a part of me. And I think like it once you do that, somebody talked one time, they were like, you need to have systems over goals. Like goals are good to have, but like it's not about the end destination. It's about the process, and that process is a system. Right. And so think of rituals as like systems. So like
system in place. Yep.
Exactly. So if you create those in your life, then like you're actually going to enjoy everything that you're doing too. It's just like what you do. So like, I don't know. Like, I guess that's my answer to all of it. And I think part of it developmentally is because I did it by myself.
Well, I think that, yeah. So one thing that's important in life is you have to look at everything as a skill. You can't look at anything as luck or chance or anything like that. So I guess I should have looked at it like this. Intrinsic motivation is a skill that I need to develop because I obviously have trouble motivating myself. So it's not like my workouts have suffered from it or anything. It's just not the same fun going to the gym by yourself. But I
feel like
it's also good regardless.
Yeah, I feel like it's also good to have a training partner with the same goals. Because like we got into like we're basically both into like bodybuilding stuff, and so like basically when we would work out, like there would be times where we don't even talk throughout the workout. We're just there, you know, helping each other get force reps and stuff like that.
For sure, yeah. It's not about the talking or any of that, but it more just has to do with like you have somebody that you're there with, and like you know that you guys are both going to get that workout done. And it's important to have a good partner too. I've trained with other people before where it's it's not the same as me and Elias training together. Like, it's just not, like, I would rather train by myself than training with other people a lot of the time. I had another good training partner, Maximus. Shout out to him. I'm not talking about him. He's a great training partner. His knee was injured, though, so my legs did atrophy during that time, too.
So I have a question for, I guess, like the both of you two, because obviously you guys have been training partners, right? Like, personally, I've never really had like a training partner. I kind of understand, like, I understand why you'd have one. You really only would want to have one if they're like kind of like, I want to say on the same level as you, definitely helps, but like, you know, same level of like discipline and motivation. But like, what do you think are the benefits of having a training partner versus like just training by yourself?
So for me,
like, what are the pros at least?
Honestly, one thing I really liked about training with Elias too is that I love like bringing people along with me, and I already had that previous knowledge of like how to bodybuild train. I already knew like how to put together a good push-pull leg split. I hadn't necessarily mastered the volume and the intensity because I was pretty much doing, when we first started, we were literally doing probably 5 sets for each muscle, or three sets for each exercise, 5 sets for each muscle group, or 5 exercises for each muscle group with those 3 sets, all to failure.
We're doing like
we would literally be in the gym for 3 hours a lot of days, and drop sets, cluster sets. Like, it was insane.
That's probably why we always got injured too.
Yeah, we would get injured pretty often, but that's something like with a training partner you can do that. So I would say that's the most advantageous thing about having a training partner is no matter what, like, you can go as hard as you want. Another thing is taking, like, you can add more density to your sets is what I like to call it, is so by making your sets harder, so you can go 2 or 3 reps past failure. You can have them unload the weight, so you can do a drop set easier or a cluster set or whatever you want to do. And those are really important too, I think, especially for somebody who's just first learning. I would say use all of those intensifiers because you're probably not training hard enough when you first get in the gym. Like, the only reason why me and Elias knew how to train hard is because we used to do these things in football called game day dominances.
Oh yeah, I was gonna talk about that because I feel like I wouldn't be able to push myself as hard without those.
I would have never learned how to work hard without football.
Yeah.
Working hard is a skill as well that you have to learn, and you won't learn how far you can push yourself until you've pushed yourself as far as you can go. Like, so for a while, you know, like, I thought in middle school I was working hard playing basketball and football, but then you go to high school, you start doing game day dominances where you don't really have anything like your mental. It comes down to you have to have the mental to push yourself, to keep on pushing yourself. It has nothing to do with the physical at that point, because like, you're so exhausted, you think that you have nothing left physically, but it's what you have mentally left that's going to keep you going. And so like, that's where you really learn, like, to go to failure. Oh, this is what it truly feels like for your muscle to fail. And that's really important, because if you're not training hard enough and you never learn how to train hard enough, you really won't make gains. Yeah. I would always say overtrain over undertraining. But once you learn, you do need to refine and avoid overtraining too, because like Elias said, we dealt with a lot of injuries. Like, I remember one time we were benching, flat benching, which I don't really do that anymore. I replaced it with dumbbell incline. I think it's better for avoiding injury and
better for bodybuilding too.
Chest hypertrophy, in my opinion. Yeah. But like, I was just adjusting myself on the bench, and I basically just screwed my neck up completely. I had like this super sharp pain in it that wouldn't go away for like 2 weeks, and that was all just because like, you get random injuries like that from overtraining.
Yeah, remember my shoulder?
Yeah.
I was sitting lat pulled on the first set, warm up. The first set, pull it down and go up and let it go. My shoulder comes out of the socket.
Another thing with partners that you can learn a lot more too, because you're watching somebody else do those same exercises, and so you guys are both trying to like pinpoint what's wrong with your form there. Hey, let me fix this. You can literally touch their muscle. So hey, tap in right here. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of good things that can come from having a good training partner, for sure.
I really like what you said about, you said like hard work is a skill, because it really is a skill as well too. And I think a lot of people, because there's a chronological order of which you need to learn skills to be successful in something as well too. Like, you can't learn how to use operate big machinery until you really learn how to use like a hammer in the first place in construction, you know? It's just kind of chronologically how it works. So I feel like a lot of people, they focus in on like, oh, I need to learn exactly like how many reps and how many sets I need to do. Like, you know, all the specifics, right?
Important.
The first skill you need to learn is just like how to work hard.
Yes. 100%.
And once you do that, like you said, what you did was you just refined the process afterwards. You're like, okay, now I'm going to focus on optimizing like my reps and my sets. And I like what you said, because it's so true. Like, you as partners are able to do a lot more things like drop sets and, like you said, intensifiers. Whereas like I think about my own training, like it's more about getting in the gym consistently than it is like going 100% hard. And I think they're just two different mindsets on things. But that's something I wish I had too, which is like, if you don't have a training partner, it's hard to do stuff like that. It really is. So like, those are definitely big pros of having a training partner. If you like can find a good training partner, it will take your fitness to the next level. And it's like things that you guys have carried on even past being friends, right?
It's especially good if you don't have a coach too. That's one thing that I have been interested in lately is picking up a coach, because I think for me, I always like having just somebody to hold me accountable, no matter who it is. So a coach would be another good thing if you aren't able to get your hands on a training partner. I know it's expensive, and that's what's kept me from doing is I'm trying to save money, get a new car right now and stuff. So
yeah, but also you're gonna have a good training partner, because like if you have a bad training partner, that's not gonna help you. It's gonna hold you down.
that's true for sure. So yeah, that's another thing I will say is that if you have a training partner who doesn't want to hit something, or they're not on the same wavelength as you, like, you're just gonna go down with them. It will never be you'll be able to bring their energy up to yours, because that's not how people work.
What you were saying about a coach is an investment. Like, so like I've talked about like online coaching and stuff like that before, which like honestly for a lot of people is worth it, because you get the accountability side. But like you said, for yourself at least, like, you know, you told yourself you need accountability, right? Like you operate really well with that. So you can only imagine, like, you're going to spend a lot of money, but also it's not like you're not getting shit out of that money. That money's an investment. And like, that money could get you to the point where like you physically and mentally are the biggest beast you've ever been. And now you have the confidence to say, I'm going to go be a real estate agent. I'm going to go sell 100 houses this year. Or like, you know, I'm not saying that, but like, that's the type of like mindset that it can give you too, to go make money and change the rest of your life. So I would say I would encourage you to do it, even if like you think, like, obviously you don't want to have it to the point where like, oh shit, what up? It's not recording. Titties! Sorry folks, it accidentally cut out there for a second. I don't think it cut out too much.
Okay.
That's good.
I was wondering how far back we had.
No, it was only like a minute or two, because I was still on it. But frick, I forget what I was saying. Yeah, no, like regardless, like coach is definitely like a really good investment. So if like you have the financial means, I would send it.
Sure. So for a while, I wanted to be a professional bodybuilder too, because when I was so burnt out of school, it's like working out is the only thing that made sense to me. So it's to the point where I was like, there's nothing else in my life that I could do that I would enjoy other than bodybuilding. But I'm not to that point anymore, because I have a better perspective of my life, and I understand myself a lot more now too. So I'd say that's important, and I'm happy I didn't hop on gear, because there was a couple times where I was texting Elias, and I was so close, like, dude, I want to be a professional bodybuilder. Like, why not just hop on right now and get it started? But like, do not do that until you have maxed out your physique, natty, because I would have regretted that. That's a lifelong decision that I almost made. Like, I was looking at sources and everything, and I'm so happy that I didn't, because
I'm so glad you didn't either, because I would be on gear right now.
And you cannot make that decision in one day. So, any questions?
How close are you? So he always does like the rating scale 1 to 100 on physique. So on a scale of 1 to 100 on where you want to be, where do you think you're at right now?
So I would say before I had this little rut in my training, I was probably like a 85. Like if 100 is where if 100 is where I want to be,
100's peak.
Like for my physique, but now I would say I'm like a 50.
Oh, damn. Dropped 25 points.
Well,
woo.
My legs were actually my strong point of my physique, and they have been my whole life. And then my legs are tiny now. So
okay, so like I don't know. I mean, some people have is specifically what they want to achieve, like a weight number and like a body fat percentage, like end goal. Do you have something like that in mind right now?
That's the weird thing too, is that I honestly, it's hard to put a number on it. Like 85 is probably not accurate either, because I wasn't even close. Like back then I thought it looked like shit, like when I was at that 85. So probably more like 70, but I lost my train of thought. It's really hard to like think of an endpoint for me, because I think once I got there, even if I did set one right now, it just wouldn't be enough.
Yeah, 100%. Never satisfied.
Right, but you just got to understand, like, you can't let that take away from your appreciation, because that's what I did for a while. I'm like, I'm so far away from where I want to be. Like, I definitely want to be a lot leaner than this right now too. And like,
yeah.
But I'm not sure if I want to go below the weight I am right now, just because like I would like to be like 220 lean. Like, I would feel good about that just as a number. Like, if I hear somebody that's 220, 225 lean, 6'2", like, you're pretty freaking big for that. So.
But I was listening to the Real Bodybuilding podcast yesterday. It was like episode 7, because I started watching it and listening to it because of you. Mm-hmm. And he was saying, like, he was 300 pounds like 5 years apart, but 5 years later he was like lean because he grew into his body. So I think you just gotta, keep at it, and time will tell.
Right. That's another mindset I've had, is sometimes if you're letting the diet go a little bit, just don't let the protein go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Keep your protein at least 1 pound per body weight. I like to be at more like 1.5.
1 pound? 1 gram?
1.5 grams per pound of body weight. Sorry. Yeah. Protein farts for 100%. Sure at 1.5 grams.
Yeah.
But I noticed when I went up to like 300 grams of protein, because that's what I was doing when I was really on my stuff, like before my vacation and everything. I was up to like 300 grams. I felt great. Like, it was like I was leaning out while I was gaining weight. It was so weird. So that's another thing I recommend everybody trying, is really high protein diet.
Yeah. I love protein. Do you guys like protein? I think everybody loves protein, right?
100%. Protein's hard to get down, though.
Yeah.
I will say that.
Who did you like first initially start following, like on social media and stuff like that, when you started your fitness journey?
Yeah, so at first it was Bradley Martin, like picking up girls and stuff in the gym. I love watching those.
Yeah, I was like, what? Like, because I know you said Bradley, you said David Lade, and you said
Dylan McKenna.
Dylan,
David's best friend.
So like, what kind of content did you like from them that you watched?
I loved watching the compilations from Dave and Dylan, just like the lifting, the music with the, and the powerlifting content. That's what I loved that at first too. I was like, I want to be big and strong too. That's where I got DUP from, which is daily undulating periodization.
Did you get the program?
No, I never bought the program, but I'm like, dude, that makes so much sense. Like, I'm just going to vary my rep ranges whenever and just hit what I want to hit today. Like, if I want to hit. So for me, it's more like if I'm feeling like I can hit a strong 6 or a strong 8, then that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to try to PR at that. But if I'm on a day where I feel a little bit weaker, maybe I'll go for like a 12 rep, just try to match what I did last time or something like that. So I think that's the best way to train too, is it just based more on like feeling and intuitive training. Because like I said, once I got to that logbook, my training actually went downhill, not uphill. So.
You need to like have I use a training log personally. You have to have a blend of both, because I do exactly what you're saying. Like DUP is actually really good because it also makes sure you get injured a lot less too. Instead of having a strict, like, I'm hitting a 90% today at four reps. Like, bro, that sucks. Yeah. Like, bro, I hurt today. My elbows hurt. So yeah, you need to be able to like implement that into like your training logs. If you can like write your stuff down and look back at it later, it actually is super helpful. But like, if the journal like just consumes you, then it's not worth it in the first place.
But content wise, I can't really think of anybody else. I watched a little bit of like Steve Cook too. But my main guy was Bradley Martin. I don't like his content as much anymore, honestly, because I mean, he just makes like really short, crappy videos sometimes. But like back then, he used to talk about a lot of real stuff too, like about his anxiety and stuff, and that helped me a lot because like I realized, that's kind of what I was dealing with too, and the gym is the exact same as him. That's what helped me get through it too. And yeah, like since I was kind of bigger my whole life, I was never really happy with my body. I just loved like to see those guys like that's just what I wanted to look like so badly. Like I get chills just thinking about it still. Like I just wanted to look good so bad.
There are some insane videos of David. Like, he's probably the most aesthetic man on social media in the fitness community.
Gorgeous.
Oh my gosh. And like, there would be time he would like hit a workout at night and then he'd go outside and there'd be like one street light and he have some really nice camera, like some A7S3 or like an FX3 or something. And like, the dude just looks peeled.
Yeah.
Like, you're just like, oh my God, he actually looks like a Greek god. This is like, I want to look like that.
100%.
So it's weird because it's like, that's motivating, but at the same time, it's about not comparing yourself to others.
Yeah.
So
you have to, when you look at other people and you look online and stuff, you have to make sure you're looking at it as more of like an inspiration mindset rather than like a comparison. You shouldn't ever be thinking about yourself when you're looking at somebody else's physique. That's for sure, you know? So, I think it just comes down to that, just your mindset, you know? I mean, you can watch fitness YouTubers and stuff. It doesn't have to like sway you like that, and make you feel bad about yourself. It 100% doesn't. Like, I still watch a bunch of fitness YouTube. I mainly watch Sush now and a little bit of Lex James, but
Sush is interesting. I don't know. I think for people starting in the game, I don't know if he gives off like the bad rap because it's like he really does live like a luxurious lifestyle. And I think a lot of people tuning in now, like, they didn't see the 18 months that he put in on the content grind. I think some people did.
I actually watched every single YouTube video from his very first one.
Okay.
So I was really into Greg Doucette.
Yeah.
When he first came out. And so I think because of Greg Doucette, and he always mentioned Greg Doucette in his videos, his very first video got recommended to me on my YouTube feed, but I didn't have TikTok, so I found him on YouTube. I've watched every single video since then.
Okay. That's fair enough. So
yeah, people don't get it for sure.
No.
Yeah.
Why don't you do content?
For me, I don't know. Like,
you're very inspiring and motivating. I think people would learn a lot from you. I mean, it's a tough dichotomy because I know what you said about Instagram earlier, and like, you can obviously chime in on that here in a moment.
I want to talk about that actually.
Yeah. But at the same time, like, there's a negative side to Instagram, but there's also like a positive in social media in general. And it's like, I know he's experienced it probably more than anybody here of like the lives that you can really touch. Like, it's hard because as a consumer, like it can definitely like mess you up mentally because it can just consume you, right? You're just endlessly scrolling through feeds and comparing yourself to others. But like, if you can just focus on pushing content, like bringing value to people, then it's a good thing. But like, that's hard to do too, you know?
Well, so I would like to do that, and I love seeing Elias inspire so many people. Like, it just gets me hyped up. Like, I bet that would, I can't imagine how great that feels. You know what I mean? But I have trouble putting myself out there too. Like, I honestly don't like posting myself. Part of it's still like a self-esteem issue. Like, I just don't, like, I don't think I look good enough to start, honestly.
I don't
like,
still. I was going to do it.
I was kind of, like, I always think, like, I'm just not good enough yet. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I want to be looking sick before I start posting myself.
Yeah. But you also want to, like, for me, I'm doing it because imagine, like, me looking back in 6 years.
Yeah, I can see that for sure, too. And, I mean, you don't have to look great to inspire people either. You just have to improve. You know what I mean? Like, that's what's so inspiring about you is your improvement. You know what I mean? It has nothing to do with, like, how good you look when you start. That has not, and I get that, so maybe I should start. But, I mean, right now, like, I don't even have a personal Instagram or, like, the only thing I'm on is Snapchat, and I pretty much just use it to text my friends, like, just because I don't have everybody's number. For me, too, like, if you have an addictive personality, social media is not the best for you because I definitely have an addictive personality. And so, like, I know, like if I get on TikTok, I'm watching that shit for, like, 3-4 hours a day. Like, that's just what's going to happen. Like, I can't. Like, I just have to keep it off my phone. So that's kind of how I've learned to stay away from that because I've also noticed I'm just a lot happier, like, when I'm not on my phone, not on electronics as much in general, you know? Like, go outside, go to the gym, have fun, you know what I mean? So, that's kind of my stance on social media. I would like to get into it, kind of, and I know it's going to be important too. Like, even to get a job, like, people are going to be like, "What's wrong with this guy? He doesn't have a social media. Like, I can't look him up on Instagram. Like, like, they might not want to give me a job because of that. You know what I mean? So I know it's important. I do need to get on it soon, but it's just been something I'm putting off. But we were talking about maybe starting the Instagram today, baby. So
yeah, I mean, yeah, might as well.
First post might drop today.
Yeah. and we'll make you look sick in it too. But no, I definitely get where you're coming from. Like, I have an addictive personality too. I think all of us do. Yeah. 100%.
Well, everybody that gets into the gym like we have, like, you have to have an addictive personality because otherwise you wouldn't have gotten addicted to the
that's
gym.
true.
Like, that's my main addiction is the gym. So, yeah, but I mean, it just all comes down to self-control and stuff too. And I
feel like it's all mental though. I read that on Instagram the other day. Levi trains. He's blown up on Instagram right now. He owns a brand called Revolution, and he said it's all mental. He just won the show too.
Yeah, that's true. You know, the mentally stronger that I get too, like the more I'm journaling and like learning about mental health and stuff, I would feel more comfortable getting back into that. And just learning mindfulness and like just being able to control myself and control my mind. That's something that I've learned a lot from working on my mental health with journaling and meditating. So, well, you know, once I get to a point where I feel like I can get on social media and I'll be able to get off of it, then I would feel a lot better about that too, you know. So, got any more questions, guys?
What's your favorite part about the gym?
What's my favorite part about the gym?
Yeah.
That's a tough question. I mean, my favorite part about the gym is just working out, baby. That's another reason like why I didn't really I don't love like taking pictures and stuff in the gym because I feel like it kind of takes away from my workout sometimes.
That's true.
My best workouts are like when my headphones are just all the way up. Like I haven't thought about anything the entire time. I'm just turning up to my music and just lifting the entire time. Like it's been an escape for me because like I said, I always dealt with anxiety and stuff when I was younger because I was an overthinker. I think that's something that comes with anxiety. And in the gym, you don't really have to think about anything like real. You don't have to think about life. You can just go crazy for 2 hours.
I think it's interesting.
That's my favorite thing about it.
Yeah, that's 100% right. I think something that people need to consider as well too is like you're made up of your environment. And so like you also need to switch up your environment from time to time as well too. Like working at 5-Star, like 80% of our customer base, I dead ass would say like went to Vasa. And like I've honestly almost exclusively went there now for like a year and a half. Mm-hmm. And when you know everybody like that, it honestly makes the working out process like way worse because at least for me, I deal with a lot of social anxiety in the gym because I feel like I like have to say hey to everybody because I've made like these relationships with everybody too. And like for me, just to put my headphones in and like just be a nobody, like it doesn't really work. It seems like I'm being like a dick or something like that. So I like, honestly, that's like one con of being in the fitness industry in general is like you do end up just like knowing everybody. So then like it becomes more of a social place than like a place to like, you know, put the work in. So like that's one thing I miss. And like that's one thing I would just say mix up your gyms as well too. Like if you can find a place to just escape to, like I was just thinking about like Park West Fitness on the south side of town or something like that. Like where Legacy Pub is. Mm-hmm. But like, no, that's definitely what the gym should be as well. And like, that should be like the best part of the gym.
Yeah. So yeah, I always wonder like, cause I've like you've seen me in the gym before. Like I don't talk to anybody. Like I will not go up to anybody and start a conversation no matter what. That's just because I don't know. Part of me just wants to stay focused and be on my workout. But another part is just like, I just have trouble, like, I kind of make enemies with people before I ever meet them. I know some people have this problem too. Like, Elias knows this. Like, is that guy looking at me? Like,
bro, he'll be literally, like, telling me, like, bro, I think this dude's looking at me. Like, in the middle of a work, and I'm like, do I got to go beat his ass? Literally.
It's weird. It's a weird thing, yeah. And I realize now, like, that's not realistic. That's just a trust issue thing for me, like, because of, like, stuff that's happened to me when I was younger. Just like I instantly make enemies like in my head with everybody before I ever meet them. And then every single time I go up to somebody and actually start a conversation with them, I'm like, that guy's super cool. Like
shout out Kyle, bro.
Yeah. Kyle from the gym. I should have been talking to you at the gym. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like you're super cool. Like, but we never met each other just cause like I'm so standoffish. I I probably don't look very approachable in the gym either, to be honest.
I mean, I'm also just like a freaking social butterfly. So you're like, that dude's fucking insane. I don't want to. No, the gym is like two things though. Like one is like a place to grind. And I was breaking this down to somebody the other day. I was like, everybody's a certain percentage of each of those things, like the social side and like the workout side.
Right.
Like for you, you're like 90% just workout and grind and 10% like social, you know? Like
I like the social with my friends. So like if I come to the gym with Elias or Maximus, like I love chopping it up in between our sets, you know what I mean? But it's just like, yeah, I agree with that for sure.
But there's also pros to both sides too, you know? Like there are probably things where, you know, because I literally know everybody in the gym. Like there's pros to that too, you know? I'm not saying like that's the worst thing in the world. And that may be something you're like, damn, I wish I had that. But at the same time, it's the opposite end of the coin too, because there are pros to just like having your head down, grinding, and just like not having to worry about the social side. Like the worst thing you deal with is like you see some dude, why the fuck you looking at me funny? You know, I'm gonna be that. Like, bro, and like you get over it in like 10 seconds anyways.
I actually got into an altercation at Basal one
time. Oh God.
I don't know if I should tell the story or not. Maybe I should just leave it out.
Should you tell it?
Give the like PG version of it.
So I was with my girlfriend. She's like a inconsistent training partner. So she just comes sometimes, and there's nothing wrong with that. She doesn't love the gym the same way I do, and like that's fine. Some people have other passions in life. It doesn't have to be the gym for everybody. But she likes coming occasionally. So we were in the gym, and she went to the bathroom. It was before we started our first exercise, and I started doing rows like so. I like put my head down like this on the chair, you know, like the shorter chair that we have at Vasa. That's how I do my bent over rows, and then I keep my legs straight, so I'm like pretty much parallel with the ground, because that's how I hit my lats a lot better when I'm completely parallel with the ground, like my upper body is. So and that's the only attachment that can get me in that position, or like that's the only equipment that I could think of using. And so this guy comes up to me, and he basically just tries to bitch me off of it. Like, get off of this. I'm doing shoulder press, basically. This army guy or something. I don't know who he is. Some old dude. And I'm just like, I had seen this guy repetitively bully everybody else in the gym, and I'm not the kind of person to just like get up and leave. You know what I mean? And I was gonna fight him. I'm happy I walked away too, because like I was so close to just socking him like in the middle of the gym. I don't know what would have went down if that would have happened, but probably would have lost a lot. Cause like also my scholarships for school are dependent on that I never get arrested and stuff like that. So but yeah, I just didn't want to fold, so because I'm not that kind of person. So I'm like, no, dude, I'm doing my rows here. Like I got here first. This is mine. You can work in if you want to. And he started working in with me, and then as he was working in with me, he started like just like getting shitty with me for the workout that I was doing, because I was doing rows right there, like. And so I just started something with him, and then things escalated from there. You know how it is. He got in my face. I walked out of the gym because I wasn't gonna fight him in there, 100%. That's not cool. But I would say, if anything, just that I learned from that is just be cool in the gym, man. Like that's a lot of people's safe space, and like honestly, like that's another thing that turned me off the gym. Like that was about when I stopped training, is just because I was so pissed. But so yeah, be cool to everybody in the gym. You know what I mean? Like don't try to bitch anybody out of their spot. You know, like let people work out, let people have a good time. You know, so we good? Any more questions?
I think we good.
How long was it?
About an hour.
It's pretty good.
I hope so. Well, shameless plug again at the end. Shout out Rocky Gains sponsor, code Eliaz, ELIAZ, 10% off. These hats are actually on sale right now, from $30 to $19. So with my code, they'll be like $19 after tax. They're pretty fire.
Also, like we talked about at the beginning, make sure to follow the stuff on the InspoCast. This one was dope, by the way. Dude, it was dope to meet you. Like, you brought a lot of wisdom to the plate today. I think we always, at the end, kind of mention, like, you know, it's called the InspoCast for a reason, right? Try to bring inspiration to others. And I think, like, even for myself, I'm sitting here, like, you know, I would say I'm not in the healthiest spot in terms of my mental health. or at least I think all of us have improvements, right? And like for you, you've grown a lot in that area, and like there was a lot of wisdom for a lot of people out there. So, hey, working hard's a skill set. Fall in love with the process of the gym, and also this man's gonna start posting content soon.
Hey, have fun in the gym. Just have a great time with everything. Have a great time with your journey. Enjoy every step of it, because I promise the end point isn't shit. The end point isn't what you make it out to be. Like being shredded, like that's not what I made it out to be. But what was is just getting shredded, like having fun with with the guys that I train with and stuff. Just that was what I enjoyed the most about it. Not getting there, So have a fun time.
And stay tuned for all the highlights from this one, because this one's going to be freaking epic. You're going to listen to this later. You're like, damn, that was really good.
I hope it is. I hope it is. I hope I don't sound illiterate.
No, you sound great. But that's going to conclude episode 8. Guys, thank you for tuning in. If you haven't already, make sure to smash the like button. Like, if you make it this far, I swear to you, like, you better be just hitting that ASAP, like, right now. Also, make sure you're subscribed as well, too.
Hold up. We need to tell them to drop something in the comments if they watch the whole video.
Comment Stone Dog down below in the comment section if you made it this far.
I want to see that.
One word. Capital S, capital D.
SD, okay.
Yes, sir. But that is going to conclude episode 8. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.